Alright, so welcome to another of our lesson. We are continuing to look at preparing for electrical conduit wiring installation. So two things. So the assignment that was given last class, how many lights per circuit, how many plugs or duplex receptacle per circuit. Right, so I think this information is one that is critical because, as you would agree with me, Samuel, is that whenever you enter a particular house, them have plugs all over. In the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the living room, in each of the rooms. These plugs are all over. So the big question is, how many of them can you put on a particular circuit? Now, so off the bat, I can just simply say that based on the JS21, they give a particular table, and I hope the table is visible. So this table is taken from page 32. So the same JS21 that I was talking with you about somewhere earlier, that's where the information is extracted from. A matter of fact, that is the code that regulates our electrical installations, whether commercial or residential application locally. So anything that you're not so clear about, that's what you go to for clarity. Right, so they provide this particular table. So what they're saying is that for plug circuits, and I will send the presentation so you will have this particular table, and you'll be able to actually see it. I know it might not be so clear now, but for a plug circuit, it's saying that you can add up to five plug circuit excluding the kitchen area. So if you put in plugs in the walkway or in the living room or in your bedroom, you can have up to 5 plugs on any one circuit. 5 plugs on any one circuit. And the maximum rating of this sub-circuit should be 20 amps. So you shouldn't have a plug circuit. Then usually you shouldn't have a regular duplex plug circuit with a 30 amp breaker unless it is actually a special condition. So it's really a 20 amp breaker that you connect the plug circuit to. And the maximum number of plugs that you can actually put on this circuit is 5, excluding the kitchen area. And I'll explain that some more because many times we do installations and what tends to happen is that if it is that the electrician put a kitchen plug and a regular plug circuit where you have your TVs and your fans and so on plugged into, what you find is that once you plug your microwave or any of those high energy equipment that you generally use in the kitchen into that socket, the breaker trips. So which is why the kitchen area is excluded. So what most persons do, which we find that is pretty safe, is to ensure that any plug circuit that is installed, or plugs that are installed in the kitchen, what you have to do is to ensure that those circuits are on a breaker by itself and not mixed with any plugs in any other area. Equipment. Yes. Fridge or microwave, right, and toaster oven and so on. So you want to ensure that you have particular circuit assigned for those equipments. Right? And not to mix your microwave circuit with your fridge and so on, because you're going to have breaker tripping quite frequent in that case. But if you are talking about your plug circuits for your living area, your dining area, your passage, and so on, you can easily have up to 5 of these plugs on each 20 amp circuit. So if you remember clearly last week when we were discussing about the panel, about the number of circuits that will go inside the panel, this will play a significant factor. Because in your design, you're going to say, okay, then it's a 2-bedroom house, and you're going to tell the designer that you need plug on this wall and this wall and on that wall. So whenever you decide how many plugs you're going to need in all, then it will tell you exactly how many circuits for plugs you will need, and you'd have to design your panel accordingly. And let's look at the light circuit now. Light circuits, how many light fixtures, or what we call it in the electrical industry, how many broad-based receptacles can you install on one light circuit? So based on the regulation, the JS21, again, what they're saying is that you can have up to 12 light fixtures on one circuit. 12 light fixtures on one circuit that is protected by a breaker. So you have different protection. You can have fuse protection or you can have breaker protection. But usually for our application locally, what we find that is used in our local residential and even commercial application is we find that the breaker is a more popular means of protection that is used. And I might reiterate the fact that the breaker is used to protect the wire. Fine? Breaker is used to protect the wire. So if it is that the light circuit must be a 15 amp breaker, it means then that the wire size must be sized accordingly. And as we continue, we are going to look at the chart, the wire chart basically, that tells you how many amps is allowed to flow through the different sizes of cables or wires without damaging the insulation. Right, so 12 light fixtures for per light circuit and 5 plugs per plug circuit. So if it is that you have 20 plugs in your house, excluding the kitchen area, that is telling me that that you need a minimum of 20 divided by 5, which is 4. You need a minimum of 4 20 amp circuits for plugs alone. Following? Right, and the similar case for the lights. I mean, you can have up to, say you have 50 lights, right? So if you have 50 lights at your house and you want to know the minimum amount of light circuit that you need, you would have the 50 divided by 12. So the minimum there would be basically 5, because 12 by 4 is 48. So that's 4 circuits, and you still have 2 more lights that needs to go on. So you need another circuit. So that would be 5 15 amp circuit. So you'd have 5 15 amp breaker here, and you'd have 4 20 amp breaker here minimum. And we're not talking about specialized items as yet. Kitchen area is not included. AC breakers are not included also as yet. So by you designing and determining exactly how much light circuits you need, how much plug circuits you need, then you can easily have an idea of the number of breakers that you're going to need for your main panel. So it's still a part of the design. We're still looking at layouts and so on. So right, so these are the 2 main components. So whenever you look at an electrical panel and you might look down and you see a lot of 20 amp single pole, you know that if it is that the electrician did the installation according to the regulation, you know that these would be plug circuits, 20 amp single pole breakers. And if you look and you see a lot of 15 amp, you find that you realize that those would be light circuits.
20 amp plug, 15 amp light.
20 amp plug, 15 amp light. Right, so that's the standard. That's what the regulation states. So it shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't have 15 amp for plug and 20 amp for light. No.
So like need more energy, suck more current.
You think light use more current? What's the rationale there? Why you think light use more current? Because remember here this is 12 lights and it is going only on a 15 amp circuit. And this is just 5 plugs and it is going on a 20 amp circuit. So which is using more?
Plug.
The plug. So in essence, what he's saying is that your fan, your TV, your fridge, or whatever you plug into the socket most times will use more energy than each of these lights. And the truth is that lighting fixtures are becoming so energy efficient nowadays with the introduction of light emit LEDs, energy savers. The wattage keeps going. So the wattage keeps going down with these. It's shut off. Alright, so just a second, let me get back this up. There's a little power cut.